What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chats with the Freak, the live version, which is also known as the shit show. No, I'm kidding. This is going to be a really fun night. I'm really excited for everybody, and I want to thank everybody for taking time out to come onto this, to view it, to be a guest. All my awesome people that have taken time out to come on. I feel very loved about it, so I'm very excited for this. So the first guest that I have on right now is Rachel Bello. She is a bassist from Philadelphia. So her and I share a very similar love for Steel Panther. So that's definitely a very awesome commonality for everybody that knows me. So let's bring her on.
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
It's working? Cool. All right.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, cool. We're all on now. Yay. So tell me a little bit about Oblivion, Her Majesty, because obviously I've known you for like over a year, but I've never really talked to you about your band yet.
Yeah, I don't like to brag. No, I'm kidding. Oblivion, Her Majesty, we are, we kind of, I guess, market ourselves as like a progressive electronic rock band, I guess is the best way to describe us. We're from literally Philadelphia. Half of us live in Philly. We've been together for about 4 years with the final lineup, I would say. Just 4 years of literal constant work. But yeah, that's it. I mean, we've been touring, recording, you name it. This year, especially is kicking ass and not in a good way. But we're trying to work through it, recording all the time, writing 24/7. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's in a weird way. I feel like for bands like you, where you guys kind of don't need to put all of this thought behind a tour, I feel like you guys are going to be the first ones to go back and get out playing more than the bands that are in like these huge stadiums. So I guess that's a bright spot, but like it still sucks.
Yeah, we have a show booked for September, and they're saying it's going to happen still. I don't know, but you're absolutely right. Like the band, the kind of band that we are, the one with a decent following, in our area and on the East Coast, we're not going to be able to go back right away because we're not playing like outside bar shows anymore, kind of stuff like that. We're playing just like small like venues. But yeah, we definitely will be one of the first ones back, and that has like its ups and downs because I don't know if people are really going to come out right now. They might be like super freaked out. But we're hoping, there's a safe way to make it happen, and we'll be back sooner than later, for sure.
Yeah, I find that for sure because like last weekend I shot like the social distancing show up in Pittsburgh, and it was it's weird, but like it's so cool to be able to get out there and see everybody and be like, hey, at least I'm out doing something, and I feel like I'm back in the scene a little bit.
Yeah, and like the guys in my band, like it's like we're split up. Like some of us really love the writing and recording part of it, which obviously I love. I have to love it. But like for me, the live part is the best part of being in a band. Like shows are like the best. Like just I can't even describe it. And to not know when that's gonna come back, it sucks. It really does. It just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks right now, and especially like, and I'm sure you feel the same way. But you're grinding and doing all this stuff. Like I was out on the road doing all of this like photo work and bouncing from camp to camp doing all this different stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh whoa, we're totally done right now.
Yeah,
it sucks.
It sounds pathetic when I tell people, but I'm like, we were doing so good. Like we were doing really well. We were on the right path. We were getting radio play and everything, and it just comes to a screeching halt because we're not at that level yet. We're like I'm gonna be honest, if we don't play shows for like a year or two, like we have to make sure people remember us because we were getting to that point where we were being like that Philly band, that's playing all the time, like stuff like that, and that's where we want it to be for now. And then it just like it went like this, and then it went like this. So we're really just we filmed a new music video like last month. We're cranking out singles, recording, writing, so we can push them all, just to keep our name out there and try and keep that momentum that we had before this shit. But yeah,
that's a big thing for like I find like more underground bands per se, is that you guys have to keep putting stuff out to a degree, but it still is like, how do you do it? Because how do you either cater to the fan base that you have, and how do you grow that just like on social media? Because it's difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's, people are, well, first of all, humans are like visual creatures by nature, right? So they like to, hearing stuff, obviously music, that's the number one thing of being a band and a musician, but like they also, I know if I love a band, I like to see photo shoots, I like to see videos, I like to see live streams, shit like that. And it's like ways of, well, we don't have shows right now, so we have to find a way to like get our faces out there too,
Yeah.
It's like a really tricky part of it. Hopefully when this music video comes out, I have like super high hopes for it after editing. So I'm hoping that, I'm gonna send it out to different media companies and shit like that. So that gets some publicity for us. But yeah, you gotta get creative for sure. It's definitely testing our entertainmentship, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, and being able to do all that. I actually see Zosia just hopped on. She just did Reign of Z did kind of like a live stream thing. It wasn't live, but it was some sort of a like streamed concert. I'm gonna bring her on. She could probably explain that a little bit better than I can.
Hi.
What's up, Zosia?
I'm so sorry I'm late. I suck. We actually just wrapped from rehearsal and I was helping Berg put stuff in the car, so I apologize, but I'm sure that everybody can sympathize with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. You get caught up in stuff that's like, shit. I've been doing absolutely great. I'm very excited. So, for those who don't know, Reign of Z is actually playing a show tomorrow. It is still on, right?
For now. We'll see.
For now, the show tomorrow is still on. In Irwin, PA. Hopefully, it's still. We need to get out there at this point. I mean, it's terrible. That's what Rachel and I were just talking about.
You know, if like Godzilla decides to come and let's throw something else in 2020, I mean, nothing shocks me anymore.
Yeah. And it sucks, but hopefully, like, it's terrible that it's like the night before show. It's like, okay, are we still doing this? What's going on?
And then you get that text from the venue owner, like, oh, guys, sorry, like, never mind. It's like, shit.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
It's great.
I got a slew of those in April.
Well, and, I'm sure, Rachel, correct?
Yeah, that's it.
I want to make sure. Okay, I did my homework. But I wanted to say, like, it's hard with this situation, and there's so many different theories going out online, and I'm not going to go toe to toe with a promoter, and I'm not going to go toe to toe with a venue. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like we're gonna bow our heads and just say okay, and try to move on to the next.
Yeah, because how can you fight that? Like, how can you demand that your show goes on when there's a world pandemic? You just can't. But yeah,
because God forbid, I mean, regardless if you believe in COVID or not or whatever, like if somebody did get sick at our show, I would feel horrible.
Yeah,
and that would be how we would blow up. They'd be like, oh, you got COVID at the Reign of Z show. I'd be like, great, that's
that's it.
Yeah. Like, great, that's the virtual thing. That's the thing that went viral. Not all of the music I put out, and not all the work I've done. It's the fact that this happened.
Like, fuck. So
that would be terrible. Oh my God.
It'd be awful. I would feel horrible, but I mean, like I said, I'm not going to go toe to toe. I mean, we're still booking. I don't know, Rachel, if your band's booking, but we're trying to book.
We're calling it hopeful booking. Like I was telling everyone before, like we have a show in September, supposedly. But Philadelphia is being weird right now. So we're like our result, like, our statistics, one's really good, and then they're really bad, and then they're really good, and then they're really bad. So it's like it's all up in the air right now. I would love for that show to go on if it can safely happen. We are there, absolutely. But if it doesn't, it is what it is.
I mean, I think at this point, there's really not much like we can
do for sure
as artists other than just keep putting out content.
Yeah, that's literally all you can do, and just trying to keep your name out there. It's a pain in the ass, but it tests us for sure.
So you guys are
Rachel and I were talking about that a little bit.
Yeah. Uh-oh, did they lose me?
Yeah. No, you're there. I see you.
Can you hear me? Did you lose me? I'm sorry, I'm in the car.
I can still hear you.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I was like, oh shit. Berg went down the road. And everything is
Yeah, like
gone.
why are we going on back roads?
Well, we're trying to get dinner, so because we just got done with rehearsal, so I'm not crabby and kill people. So because hangry is a real thing for women. It's a real thing.
Oh my god.
Feed
My
your
band
ladies,
is terrified of me when I'm hungry.
right? If anybody takes anything away from the chat, all the guys out there, feed your women because we will kill you.
Yeah.
I support that. I support that.
Being in a band with all guys, you know, they gotta understand that.
I always work around men, and they're always like, it'll be like 7 o'clock at night. They're like, "You haven't eaten today," and I can tell, and I'm just like, "Oh, okay, my bad."
Yeah, no, it's a real thing for sure.
Well,
Especially, I don't know if this ever happens.
You're probably like me, where like you forget to eat, and then you get ahead.
Yeah,
And then you're like, "Oh shit, I didn't eat today." And then Bert's like, "Why are you
Yeah.
yelling at me over like something stupid?" I'm like, "Probably because I haven't eaten since 10 a.m." It's fine.
yeah, I feel that. It's like I've had coffee today, and that's it. Like, is my stomach pain from being sick, or is it because I haven't eaten today? Like, what is it from?
Which one is it today? My
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
literally.
This is
Honey,
go get
Oliver,
food.
go away. Go away. He's being so annoying.
Baby.
He's being really annoying, but
And it does not want to be on camera. It
Oh.
is
no, he's climbing all over my computer.
He's like, I want involved, but I don't want to be on the
Yeah.
stream.
That's a little priss.
it's like not feeling it at all.
No.
Meanwhile,
Oh my God.
mine's like, "Hey, are you on camera? Can I be on camera?" And then everybody pays attention to my dog more than me.
Oh, my dog's downstairs. Because if he was up here, he would be bouncing off the walls right now. Like, I cannot have that Billy.
Oh my God, I totally feel that. My dog like obnoxiously barks when I'm on the phone, and I'm like, calm down.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I totally feel that.
Do you see him biting me right now? Do you see this? This is what I like.
Oh,
I can't. Can you go away?
oh.
Literally a demon.
It's on chair.
Oh, it's so cute.
Adorable. I love black cats.
Yeah, he's so
Black
cute.
cat.
He's
Yeah.
terrifying, but really cute. Yeah, I know.
But so Emmy, I'm sorry, you had a question and my phone was breaking up. You said something about online streaming. I caught it before I came on the thingy.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about different bands doing online streaming, and I know that like Reign of Z did something kind of similar to that. You guys had some sort of an online concert, and I kind of just wanted to talk to you about that.
Yeah, so Rachel, I don't know if you've heard of Launch Music Festival at all.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so we got selected to play that this year at the conference, but you know, like COVID. So
Wait, is Launch the one in New Orleans?
I'm sorry?
Is Launch the one in New Orleans?
I don't know if they might have one in New Orleans, but the one that we were going to play would be in Lancaster, PA.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So it's possible. I know that it's a pretty well-known thing, but basically they asked us to like do a concert, and you know, everything now is digital, so we had to submit it to them. So we were very lucky to have a venue nearby that, you know, helped us out. And we got actually the sound, one of the sound guys from Black Forge to help us as well. We did like a little pre-recorded concert.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, you know, it's weird when you like get done with a song and you're waiting for
content. Like content is content. We're doing, I think this coming week, we're doing same thing. We this amazing venue, and I have to shout them out. It's called Broken Goblet in Bensalem, PA. They are a brewery, all like rock metal themes. Oh my God, they're the coolest thing ever. But they have this huge stage and everything. So we talked to the venue manager, like, hey, we want to record a couple songs professionally. We're gonna have a camera crew come in, all that stuff. And like exactly you guys did, just on a stage, lighting, sound, everything, and then just have it like a little YouTube pre-recorded concert, and just hope that satisfies a couple people. But
No,
yeah,
that's no. I mean, you got to, make a crappy situation the best that you can. And I'm sure, like the people that follow you probably just want to see you play.
yeah, exactly. And hopefully, they'll be happy with what we can give them for the time being. But
I know it's really awkward when you get done and you're like, I literally made like the sound guys clap. I'm like, can somebody just say hooray?
Yeah. Or like
someone be like, yes, I did it.
It's for us, as soon as we get off the stage, we go to the merch table and we meet people, sell merch, sign things, whatever. And it's like after we're done playing, it's like, all right, let's go home. Like, no, that's so lame. But it sucks just not, meeting a new fan or talking to a pre-existing fan, stuff like that. That connection's not there, and it's not fun. I mean, it's fun.
You have a mission tomorrow, because like Berg's yelling at me like I hug people, and I need to not do that. So, like, if you have a taser, feel free to bring it and just.
That's my job. Is just walk around, make sure Zosia doesn't hug anybody.
Yeah, I would do. Like, I always hug people. Like, I'm just, and it's so funny because people are like, you don't look like a touchy person, but like if I meet you and like it's just how I greet people, and it's so weird not like having to remember like, oh, that's not socially acceptable anymore. But
it's terrible.
People, like, is it okay if I hug you? Because I don't want to hug that one person and they start screaming that like I hug them, and then I get like a whole thing slammed against me online because I hugged someone.
Yeah. It's a word since I
again how
it's
Emmy, you have to bring the tape.
That's how Random Z goes viral.
Yeah.
Hugging fans.
Like, I'm just gonna like dive in front of you.
Like,
oh my god, I'm just gonna dive in front.
Just do it, because I got the pep talk from Berg. You can say hi. He was like, don't you.
He looks thrilled.
Buddy. He's very excited.
I'm hangry.
He's hangry. He also has a resting beard face. That's a thing. It's a real thing. It's real.
The resting beard face.
The resting beard face. Because he'll always be like, are you mad? I'm like, that's just my face. It's the same with him.
I feel that.
I know.
Yeah, we all have that problem.
I know. Everybody thinks I'm mad.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not mad. It's my face.
My face.
I just want to tell a funny story real fast. My dad is watching right now, so shout out to my dad. And he just texted me and said, do I see new tattoos on your arm? Because I didn't tell him yet. And I'm seeing him next week for my birthday. So surprise, Dad. Yeah, I got 2 new tattoos. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't tell you.
I'm running out of body. I'm running out of body for my tattoo. It's terrible. It's a real thing. Emmy, I have to compliment your makeup.
Thank you.
Yeah, color.
It took me way too long to do it.
Listen, I feel that.
It took me way too long to do this. But I'm glad someone's at least appreciative of my efforts. That makes me very happy.
I'm very appreciative.
On lipstick, I'm like, I respect you, because I just do not have the patience to do that. No. But
you know what? There's nothing wrong with that either, because I think girls need both ends of the spectrums. You need the girls that are like, I'm not fucking with this, and the other girls are like, this took me 3 hours, and you can appreciate both.
Yeah.
It's dedication.
Oh my, yes, for sure. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming on and chatting with me for a little bit. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, Zosia, I will see you at the show tomorrow.
Yeah, unless Godzilla invades.
Hopefully. Yes. Well, thank you so much, ladies, and yes, for sure. I'm so excited, Rachel, for Panthers drive-in shows next month. That's gonna be so lit. I can't wait.
I know. I'm so hyped.
It was nice to meet you. Yeah,
it was so nice to meet you. Hopefully we get to meet in person sometime in the next 5 years.
Awesome. I know, right? And Emmy, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Bye.
Oh my God. So everyone, be sure to go check out Oblivion Ring Z. Those ladies are great and great musicians with great bands and so passionate about the industry, and it makes me very happy. to see people being out there and being so proactive in their career and just loving what they do. And that's actually perfect segue into the next guest I have. She's I guess dark metal. I call it dark metal. Hopefully she's not going to kill me for saying that. Her name's Sharone. She's from Denver. And she's actually signed to DI Records, which is Dakota. If anybody who knows me, they know who Dakota is. Dakota's record label from Pittsburgh. So we're going to bring her on and Dakota on to talk a little bit about his label and Sharone about this record that she's been working on.
How's it going?
What's up, guys?
Two of my favorite people on this planet.
What's going on? Hey!
Sharone
So how's
gets
Denver been treating you, Sharone?
Oh, it's been lovely.
It's been lovely. It's been going good. I saw you played a show a couple weeks ago. How was that?
It was great. It was the first show that I played since the pandemic, and it was very liberating, and I was excited to be on stage for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of really cool things with like I was talking to Rachel about. I feel like some of the like more underground or club bands are going to be the first ones to go back out as opposed to like the big arena shows. And I think that's such a good thing for everyone to be getting the exposure, even though it's still a little scary because you don't know if people are going to show up or not, you know?
But it almost forces people to support local music because no other live shows are happening.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a good thing in a bad situation. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So you just dropped a new single out. Can we pretend? I love the fucking artwork for that. I just need to throw that out there. I love the artwork on that.
Thank you.
What can you tell me about it? Because it's so dope. I love it.
The artwork?
Yeah. The artwork is so fucking cool.
Thanks. Yeah. So my friend Kristen Miller, she runs a photography company out of Denver. And I did the photo shoot with her to promote the single and ended up picking one of those photos for the artwork. And then my friend Hannah Maddox runs a graphic design company and kind of threw down the font and for the title and everything on top of that photo that was taken. And 3 different brains combined turned it into the single artwork.
Yeah, it looked so cool. It was just out of the box. Like I remember I was scrolling through Instagram, I was like, whoa. It like caught my eye and I just thought it was so artistic and just so cool.
Thanks. Yeah, the idea for the music video for the song was a broken doll, so I wanted to incorporate that into the single artwork as well.
Yeah, for sure. So what can you tell me about the single? Like how has it been kind of getting received from your fans?
I think it's safe to say it's been the most well-received song I've released in my life, so that's pretty cool. It shot up to I think over 1,000 Spotify plays in the span of a week. The music video's broken 1,000 views on YouTube, which
I think you're almost at 2,000.
What's that?
I think you're almost at 2,000 total between Vivo and your channel.
Oh wow, yeah, and I mean this is the first music video I've had on Vivo too, so that's kind of exciting. Yeah, it's been doing really well, and I'm pretty happy about it. I'm really proud of the song, and I'm glad that people are connecting with it so much and that are enjoying listening to it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I found through a lot of your music that it's always very relatable. And I don't want to say I have a problem finding that with different bands, but I kind of do. Like, unless I know them, I'm kind of like, okay, this is a cool track, but I can't really relate to it. Your music just has always been very relatable. I discovered you back in December, and I brought you on the podcast back then. And I really liked the album that you put out last December, and I think you're working on a new one. Am I right?
Yes.
That turnover is like nuts. We're not waiting like 3 years for a new record. That's crazy.
I mean, there's nothing else to do. We're all in quarantine, right? May as well make some music.
Yeah, I feel like that's what everybody's like there's gonna be some really dope music that comes out of this. I guess that's like the good thing because everyone's like locked inside making all this like different shit, you know?
Exactly.
So is there anything you could tell me about the music that you're putting together for the record that you're comfortable with sharing?
Sure, yeah. I'm actually going in tomorrow to lay down vocals for the next single. A lot of this new music, it's definitely gone in a heavier direction from Reflection, and especially in Kyridian of Nightmares. So this new album is a lot heavier. It's got more pop elements as far as, the vocals go and some of the production. But I mean, as far as themes, it's a lot of, facades and dreams and being honest with yourself. And that's, kind of what these first two songs are. Can We Pretend is a lot about, hiding behind a facade and, feeling kind of trapped and trying to maintain a certain image and, like watching it destroy you. And, in specifics to a relationship, for instance. And this new song that is going to be the next single on the album, it's more about dreams and, realizing, with yourself what's important to you and, letting that be the main focus of your day-to-day life and making it a point to, make that what you're known for rather than just, letting everyone kind of push you aside, because that's easy.
Yeah.
People kind of look past it and don't want to pay attention. And it's important to, especially as an artist, to make people pay attention and not letting your art die along with you. So.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Your stuff's always so relatable, and I just feel like you're a very relatable person too. And I love that you're just very open with everything, and I really like that. I like you as a human being. I know that sounds really weird, but
I mean that's called being a delight.
Weird.
Sometimes. So Dakota, I do want to talk to you about DI Records because obviously Sharone is on your label.
One of my favorites.
How do you find these artists that you bring on? Because I know you have a pretty versatile roster, and it's pretty you have a couple bands from Canada. I don't think you have any other countries right now, but it's pretty insane to me. So how do you find these bands? I have questions about this.
Honestly, I just love music, so anytime I'm working on something, I'm pulling up different bands to listen to while I do it. So if I hear something that's good or may have potential down the line, I take a more interested look. Plus, there's always bands that submit, and there's always been that spotlight feature where I would actively look out for other bands, which is kind of on hiatus because I close submissions.
Yeah.
Everything.
Right. Right. Now, when I met you, it was DI or Devil. I think it was called Devil Inside Promotions, because I remember I made that mistake a couple months ago and called it Promotions, and you were like, "No, it's a record company now, Emmy." How did you make that?
When we became friends, it was actually PA local bands.
Okay.
I mean, It was at the tail end of it, but that was the time.
Okay, but then it ended up going into Devil Inside Promotions, though.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. How did you make the jump, I guess, from a promotions company to a record label? How did that transition happen?
Well, the record label was always the end goal. When I started out, that was always the end goal. I thought it would take me a lot longer to get to that point, but I grew a lot faster than I planned. But the plan was to become familiar with promoting bands on, say, a label. So it was all part of a goal to build up the company in different aspects.
Right.
So while it may not have looked like a discernible plan from the outside, there was a plan in place. And so It was actually relatively easy for me. It was just picking bands to only promote. Think of it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I was just kind of curious, and I always wanted to ask you that, but I was saving it for when I eventually brought you on, because I never knew how that transition happened, because you were I remember you threw a show in Pittsburgh and you brought a couple bands in, and it was a really cool thing. And then all of a sudden you were like, oh, I'm turning this into a record company and a record label, and I'm just going MIA for a hot minute. I was just like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, I slowed down pretty much everything in order to build it, to transition it over, which was paperwork, research. Like, there was a lot that went into it. Like, I tried to jot it all down, but I would most likely forget 80% of it.
So how did, and I guess this could be for either of you, how did Sharone end up on DI Records? How did this happen?
I had a dream of an amazing artist on my roster. Her name was Sharone. I don't know why that name stuck with me.
So I played with another band on the label, Mathias, when I was touring last summer, and I played with them out in Pittsburgh. And I guess that's how my name came across Dakota's brain. But I guess he can tell you the rest, because I honestly don't even know the answer past this point. So
You were like, I just showed up and played a show. I don't know. And then I was on a record label.
Worse things have happened. But that was initially how I found out about her, because I found out Mathias was doing a show with Sharone. So I was like, oh, I'll go take a look. And I'm thankful I forget who the other band was with you that night.
Darn, putting me on the spot here.
Don't even worry about it.
I don't remember the name.
Don't
I
worry
remember
about
the guy's name, not the band. Yeah, he was like
You're all that matters.
He was a solo electronic kind of gloomy thing. It was really cool.
Sure.
He's like, I don't know.
I wouldn't go that far. But so I checked out all the bands that they were playing with, because I was supposed to go to the show, because I had gotten Mathias into a magazine, and I was going to go to, well, 1, support, and 2, to drop off the magazines.
Right.
So I was researching, and I just kept listening to all of Sharone's music on repeat. And so, like, it got stuck in my head, so I, like, inquired about, like, booking at one point. And then later down the road, when I was starting to close submissions, all of a sudden, I have Sharone's in my inbox. And after Hazen's, I learned to not get too worked up when one of my favorite artists submits to the label. Yeah, yours was only a 30-minute cooldown for me. I was like, okay,
we briefly talked about, signing to Devil Inside Records. And at the time, I think that was just after that show happened.
Yeah.
We briefly talked about it. And I'm not really sure what happened with it, but we didn't end up, getting to that point at the time. And then I think
that's all right.
Regardless, and then when I saw that you were accepting submissions, I figured I'd reach out to you again and see what was going on and kind of what you guys did. And it didn't take very long.
I think it was first message,
something like that. Yeah, he was very excited.
Yeah, mostly me, and that was me trying to dial back down from a 300 to a 10.
Just trying to turn it down a little bit. That was like me when I shot Alice in Chains. I guess it would be like the same equivalent. I was like, oh my God, like running around the house like a freaking toddler. And then I was like, okay, I have to act professional now.
Yeah, the only problem is I'm 6'3", so me running around isn't safe for the general public. Because all of a sudden, animal control shows up and a bear has to be shot. I'm the bear, if that was.
Yeah. I think that was pretty obvious, Dakota.
You say that. But I think that was had before.
Oh my God. So Sharone, what are you what are you kind of, I guess, plans, even though 2020 is up, it's just a shit show in general when it comes to music. But do you have any other, like, maybe local shows in Denver planned or anything like that?
As of right now, no. I played a show in Denver a couple of weeks ago, and it was great, but live music is such a weird idea now. It almost like feels like if you play a live show, you almost get looked at funny. So, I mean, I know that live shows are happening around town every once in a while, and I think it's great that it's coming back around a little bit. But as far as the rest of this year, I'm not really looking. I mean, I was supposed to have the Reflection tour happen in March, right when this all started, and just a couple days before we were supposed to leave, we ended up having to cancel because Texas shut down pretty much, and that was where the majority of the tour was going to be. And we tried to rebook it for late July, and then before, like 2 weeks before we were supposed to leave for the reschedule, we saw an article come out about New Mexico. If you came through New Mexico for whatever reason, you were going to be quarantined for 2 weeks. And that was the first stop on the tour. And then Texas shut down all over again. And the reschedule kind of,
fell through.
Too, yeah. So touring is kind of off the table as far as, I can see. But for the rest of the year, I'm just working on new music and getting this album finished and hopefully having it out in the spring, so in the late spring next year. So working on
that's pretty fast for a new album. And I know I said that earlier, but that's really fast for like a new record. Because you, like I said, you just put one out in December. That just seems so fast to me. And I guess that's just what happens when you're stuck inside and dealing with everything going on.
When life happens, you just have inspiration to write. And I mean, my first album that I released with a full band, I put out in 2017. It was called Storm, and it came out April 22nd of 2017. And then my next album after that, Incarnate of Nightmares, I released in April of 2018. So it was a year, almost exactly a year that album came out. And then Reflection, the following year in December. And it's hard to not write music as a musician. I mean, people are always really thrown off by me releasing an album every year, but you can't just not write music as a musician. And we'll release it, put it out.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody else about this too, and I found that some bands are like, I guess, stalling some releases because they're worried about how it's going to be received, especially for like a lower band kind of like you, how it's or a lesser known, I should say, how are you guys going to really gain new fans by that? But I feel like social media is such a good tool, especially right now.
I mean, that's how you do it. That's the way that you make new fans, is continuing to put out content, because if you're continuously releasing music, bound to reach people at some point. You can't just put out one album and let it sit for years at this level. For bigger bands that like Hailstorm, sure, they can put out an album and work on another one for the next 5 years, and people are going to be just as excited. But being at this level, it's really important to keep momentum going and releasing content on a regular basis.
Right, keep like the turnover rate, I guess, pretty. Yeah, to keep your fans kind of hungry and wanting more, and keep the music going out to different. In gaining a new audience. I totally get that. Well, thank you guys so much for stopping on. I really appreciate it. And everyone definitely should go check out Sharone's new single, Can We Pretend? And go check out some of the bands on DI Records, because they're all ballers, especially Sharone and Hazen. I love Hazen and Sharone.
Also just signed a new one today.
Hey, that's ballin'.
Don't worry, Sharone. You're still one of my favorites. Don't worry.
Well, thank you guys so much for stopping on.
Thanks for having us.
Bye, guys. Okay, like I said, please go check out Can We Pretend. I love the artwork on it so much. I wish I could pull it up. It's it's interesting to look at. I was very like taken aback by it. I think Mr. Joe Bouchard is on here ready to come on, which is pretty dope. Let me bring him on. He just dropped a new record. I think about a week ago it is now, called Strange Legends. And it's really good. I'm just gonna bring Joe on so we can talk about it. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Thank you.
I was just listening
Thank you so much.
To your live, whatever it is, but it's live. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, we're live in real time right now.
I've done
my new live stream.
This is my 49th interview, and you were the first. So since 8 weeks ago, we talked, and since then I've been doing more press than I've ever done in my whole life. It's awesome.
That's crazy.
It's really supported the album. It's out. It had a great launch. I'm doing a lot of videos for my songs, and it's all good. How are you?
I've been doing great. I've been staying busy since we last spoke, and I listened to the album. Yeah, 8 weeks ago, and finally listened to the album. And
do you have a copy of this?
Entirety. I don't have a physical copy of it yet. No, I don't. I suck. I'm sorry.
after we're off, you send me your address. I'll send you this.
You don't have to do that, but thank you. You really don't have to do that.
To EMMY Joe.
Hey!
For you. Oops. Can't find it.
Thank you.
There you go. So send me your address later.
Okay. I definitely will. Thank you, Joe. Oh my God, that's so cool. Hey, you spelled my name right. Nobody ever spells my name right.
Well, I
need to talk about this. Nobody ever spells it right.
How did you get the name Suzanne? Is that your real name?
Yeah. Suzanne is my real last name. It's Italian.
Oh, it's nice.
Yep. That's my real last name. My actual full first name is Emily, but it's spelled really weird. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go by Emmy, and everyone will be able to spell it.
Emily's. Yeah.
There's only one Emmy though. That's for sure.
Yeah. So
tell me a little bit how Strange Legends has been being received. Obviously, you've been doing all this press for it, but how have your fans been receiving it?
The fans love it. It's an interesting time because my old band, Blue Oyster Cult, they're putting out an album in October, and then my brother is putting out an album in November, and so it's a big year for the old Blue Oyster Cult universe. It really is.
Yeah.
I don't, and it's good. I'm the first one out of that style. And they say my record sounds like a guitar record from the 70s.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. Yeah, it had
it's
a
very guitar.
It was if you love guitar, you would love that record.
Yeah, it is a really guitar-oriented record. Best guitar playing I've ever done, I think. I think not so much I play better, but I think I produce better recordings.
Yeah, and I'm sure with the new technology and stuff that was
there's a trick to it all. Yeah, you've got it all. You do this and mix a little of that, and flip it around.
It's easier to do that too. Technology is crazy, but even I find technology sometimes can be against you too, because sometimes it doesn't work, and when it doesn't work, it goes south real quick.
Yeah, well, but I started when if you made a mistake or you erased something by accident, you never got it back.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
made a, if you erased something by accident, gone. You had to start all over. So that's where I started.
Yeah, one of my
you don't know that universe.
One of my friends, and I'm not gonna call them out by name, but like they recorded like almost a full album and accidentally deleted it. This was like probably 2 years ago now, and I was like, oh my god, I couldn't even imagine doing that. Like it's a terrifying thought of deleting like almost an entire album.
Yeah, like I had a photo gallery with 20,000 pictures in it, and it was tired. It was early in the morning. I erased all 20,000 photos.
Oh,
and I had to like sort of go into like Buddhist meditation. Like, what the hell am I going to do now? And I actually got most of them back. I ended up, you dive deep into the internet and you find out that even when you erase something, there is a trace of it somewhere. So I got all the 20,000 photos back
after some meditation.
After some meditation, getting really deep into meditation, I got the photos back, but they had no names on them. It was all strings of numbers.
Oh,
it was all just numbers. But you
had the photos
digital,
at least.
Yeah, I got the photos. Sometime when I got nothing to do, I'll just go through them and recatalog the whole damn thing. Yeah.
You gotta go through that. You gotta go through that sometimes. It sucks going through like that many photos, especially, I'm a photographer. I can't even imagine that many photos getting deleted. Like I would have a breakdown. Like if I delete just one wrong photo, I have a breakdown about it.
Yeah. It was like, probably 5-10 years of my life.
Yeah, it's like I just
like
deleted
I got
like the last 10 years. That's terrifying.
Well, now I have to sort of like, because I got a new record and everybody wants to know about this and that, the past. So I've been diving deep into my archive and I got boxes and boxes of stuff. So now I'm in a process of cleaning up things and trying to get everything sorted out. I might write a book. I actually have enough pictures for a picture book.
I think we talked about this last time, and I still think you should write a book. I think you should write a book. I still think that, because I would read that, and I'm not a big book reader. Like, I would be all about that. I think that's very interesting, especially like a picture book.
You got to have good pictures of rock and roll, growing up on the farm and playing the barn dances, and oh my God.
Playing the barn dances.
The barn dances. My God. Well, I grew up on a farm in upstate New York, and that's what we did. We hated farming, so we turned the barn into a dance hall, and that's how I got my start. Was playing in the barn.
That's pretty interesting. You did not tell me that last time we talked.
Were you brought up in a barn? Well, of course.
Like, that's where I got my start, guys. I don't know what you want me to do about it. Of course I left the door open. I'm not used to having them. So obviously, like with the new record and stuff, everyone has their like favorite tracks or whatever. What's your favorite song off the new album?
Well, it's hard to say, but I would say the first track, which is called African Queen. It was written about a movie. It was actually a very easy song to write because I was watching an old movie. I've got time for old movies now, and watched the movie, and I said, this is a great idea for a song, It's got a rhythm. Just the idea of the boat going down this wild river in Africa, down the rapids and all of that. That was
I remember
it just about wrote itself. Yeah. Bouchard, Catherine Hepburn. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Classic.
I'm a big classic old movie buff, like that stuff, like Charlie Chaplin, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, those old movies are fantastic. And So that came from the movie. There are other good songs. I don't know, in promoting the record, a lot of people pick out different things that I wouldn't pick out. The instrumental track called Racing Through the Desert, people love that. It was kind of like a thrown together at the last minute, It's time to put an instrumental. But it rocks hard. It's got some great guitar playing on it. Right now, I'm working on the video for that. And so what do? I mean, if you have a song, you just sing the song and try to make it look cool, But just playing the guitar, is that going to be cool enough? Well, maybe. We'll see. You'll get to see it all.
I feel like simplistic is sometimes better, because I find with some bands they get way too over the top with it. Not saying I don't like theatrics, but they make a really simple video way too complicated. It's what are you guys doing?
Yeah, well, I was back making videos in when MTV just started in the 80s, and the first two videos we did really well. They did really well. We did 2 videos in one day. We're in California and we're in Hollywood. And we did "Burning for You," the song "Burning for You," and then we did a song called "Joan Crawford Has Risen from the Grave." Talk about a song about an old movie, Joan Crawford. Yeah. So it was a 24-hour day. We started at 6 in the morning. We finished the next morning at 6 a.m. So, but they were done pretty fast, kind of crude, Later on, we did videos that cost like 70, 100 grand. And even after that, if you tried to get a video on MTV in the 90s, they said, if it doesn't cost $1 million, we don't want it. Because they had too much stuff. They had too much. They had Duran and I don't know, all of those new age groups and,
Like in the early 80s?
Yeah. And we were lucky because we were there at the beginning and they didn't have an awful lot of stuff to play. So they played "Burning for You" a lot. So that was a lucky break.
I still feel like "Burning for You" is one of those songs that I always hear on the radio too. It's not something that kind of went by the wayside. I always remember just hearing that song on the radio.
Yeah. It's we got lucky with that one. Well, and then of course the Reaper was a big one for us. So. And that's that pays for the records that I do now.
You can kind of create your own stuff now. You don't really have to be putting a box.
Well, I don't feel the pressure that it has to be, fit into any commercial, slot. I mean, I wouldn't do a pop record or a hip hop record.
Right.
I'm going to do what I think I can do. What I feel like I can do best. Hello. You can still hear me, but I'm frozen.
Yeah, I can't. I can still hear you. I thought my camera just froze.
If I do this, and then I do this, still didn't come back. Let's see.
Huh.
Da, 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 da. Woo.
Hey, it vibrates though.
Oh,
the sound kind of still comes out. Oh my God. So the one song that I did want to talk to you about off the new record was "Hit and Run."
Sure.
I thought the guitars on that, you said something about it was a very guitar-driven record. That song is a very, very guitar-heavy. I love it. It is so it's so guitar-heavy, 70s classic rock.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, I love that. I had that song for a couple of years, did it in a couple of different styles, but once I cut it with the drums, it really came. I couldn't believe how well Mickey played drums on that, and I'm so happy the way the way it came out. It really worked well, and yeah, hit and run. That's another video I'm working on too, so you'll get to see that one. I've already done a couple versions of that. I've done a couple of versions of that, but it gets harder. The more video work you do, the higher the bar gets. You say, like, well, it's got to be better than that last one, So
yeah. Yeah, you kind of keep like getting ahead of yourself and keep wanting to be like, I want this to be like so much better than whatever. So I definitely can understand that.
Yeah. It's a video world. I mean, oh, hello. Well, it was funny. I was watching one of your earlier guests, and they were broadcasting from their car.
Yeah, Zosia.
Was that because their power was out?
No, she was at band rehearsal, and they were just in the process of leaving band rehearsal. So yeah.
Oh, because I didn't have power for 2 days because of the hurricane.
Yeah, I heard a lot of my friends. Yeah, a lot of my friends that live up in New York didn't have any power at all, and I was like, I'm in West Virginia. Like, what do you guys mean hurricane? It's sunny down here. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, well, so I had to do my first interview from the car, but I had my phone set up on Skype, and it worked perfect. I found a good, strong signal, and where I live
just
here, not great Wi-Fi. Yeah, not great Wi-Fi. Hey, I got a split.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Joe.
Here.
Yeah, it's still frozen.
Frozen.
I don't know why. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much again for coming on, Joe.
Well, I'm so happy talking to you.
Thank you so much, Joe. And I hope you have a great night, man. Thanks for stopping in.
Send me your ID, and I'll send you that CD.
I got you. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye, man. Joe Bouchard, everybody. I love that man. He is so sweet. Everybody needs to go check out Strange Legends. I know I've been saying that with like everybody that comes on. I'm like, go check out their freaking music. But seriously, that record is so good. And I'm very honored to be able to do some press for it. I love that band. So let me see if okay, cool. Randy's in here. So my next guest is going to be Randy from Stitched Up Heart. I met him last year when I was doing some photo stuff on the Steel Panther tour. If you guys want a fun drinking game, take a shot every time I say Steel Panther during this broadcast. I don't know. It could be a shot of water. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It's whatever at this point. So I'm going to bring Randy on.
Hey,
what's up, man? How are you?
Good, I'm good. How can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'm doing this from my cell phone, so I don't have my laptop with me, and I'm actually out in Vegas at the moment, so I'm doing some recording out here while we're like dealing with the COVID. While we're dealing with COVID, trying to keep busy, find other avenues or whatever to keep working while we can't go play shows.
Yeah. Not being able to go out right now is just absolutely terrible. And I know everyone's kind of been trying to stay busy doing different like recordings and producing and whatnot. So That's cool that you're out in Vegas doing stuff. I heard the COVID numbers in California kind of got crazy.
California, it got pretty nuts. I've heard it's pretty nuts here in Vegas too, but I haven't been out to the Strip. Although I was there I want to say about 2 weeks ago, I stayed on Fremont Street. And there was like 5,000 people out there. When I was walking around, I was like, oh my God, dude. And like no one's really social distancing or anything. And I was like, no wonder COVID is like just skyrocketing out here in Vegas.
Yeah. I find that like a big thing in Ohio too, because like I'm in that weird like tri-state area with like PA, West Virginia, and Ohio. And like everyone's just like, oh yeah, we're over this pandemic now. Like I don't care anymore. It's like, guys, what is wrong with you? Like, take this seriously so we can all go back to normalcy. Yeah, it's been crazy. I miss being out touring for sure and being out doing shows and stuff. But so what have you been working on since everything obviously got shut down? I know you guys were supposed to do that tour with Sebastian Bach, and then that ended up getting at least postponed. So
we had the tour with Sebastian Bach that was supposed to go out. I think it was in March. We were supposed to go out March and April, and throughout Canada. And then then they postponed it, and I believe the dates are still set right now, but I mean, I honestly think the chances of those happening are not very good. And the other reason is because there's a lot of crossing across the border from America to Canada, and so I don't think the Canadians are gonna invite us over the border right now or let us over there at the moment. I don't think I'm gonna let anybody over there actually, but there we had a bunch of festivals that were booked. I want to say we had like 7 or 8 of the big festivals that we were booked on, and all of them. I mean, obviously they're that's the end of them for this year, anyways. Everything has been either canceled or postponed till next year. And so right now, I'm out here in Vegas. I've been working on a side project. Since it's something I've wanted to do for the longest time, and so finally it's like, well, we can't go out and tour, and there's there's only so much we can do right now with Stitched Up Heart. We're doing a Twitch stream on a daily basis, which takes up a couple hours and some writing here and there. But so I started working on my side project for the first time, and so for who knows how long. So I'm out here with a couple friends doing some recording at the moment.
That's really cool. And do you have any, I guess I kind of want to ask you, is the sound of your solo project going to be any similar to Stitched Up Heart, or do you even not know yet?
No, I mean, I have a good idea. It's really going to be a lot more electronic. It's honestly, it's a lot different than it's not really rock. It's going to be like a lot more electronic kind of, basically a lot like the Prodigy or like Fatboy Slim. Pendulum, if you ever heard of those. I've always been like a really big fan of the electronic music, and so I'm kind of going down that avenue for this one, branching out into other things.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, because you get like more of a reach to different people, and maybe those people are also a fan of rock. They've never heard of your band, and they're going to be like, oh, this is really cool. Yeah. They'd be like, oh, this is really cool. I'm going to go see if he has any other bands. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I totally get that. So
I've been, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mentioned I met you on the Steel Panther tour last year, and I kind of wanted to talk to you because obviously I've been sitting at home reminiscing about the last 3 years I've pretty much spent living out of my car on the road. What kind of road story? Do you have any cool road stories that you wanted to share? Because I know we shared a bunch when I met you on the tour, and I just didn't know if there was anything you could share from.
Well, the Steel Panther tour, as you know, we don't talk about what happens backstage at Steel Panther shows.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Everybody is just, we're nice little boys back there and just hanging out, just getting ready for the shows usually. I'm trying to think of some good stories. There's one I can think of. God, this one actually happened a couple years ago when the first year I was in Stitched Up Heart. And we were touring, we were going nonstop, and we were playing it was a festival in, I think it was Brownsfield, Texas is where it was. And there was this it's like this huge field that we're playing in. They set up a couple stages. I think Saving Abel was headlining the festival for this year, or the day we were playing anyway. But the backstage area was a little bit of a walk, maybe about 100 yards away from where the stage was, and it was like this older kind of building or whatever. And so I walk up there. Oh, this cat's sorry, there's a little kitty right there. Hey, kitty, come on, kitty.
Cat's like, I want it on this too. I want to talk.
Oh, so anyways, what happened was I'm looking at the back of the building. Someone pointed to it and they said, yeah, that's where the green rooms are. They're in that building over there. So it's like, okay, cool. And I see on the back of the building, there's this really old bell. and it's maybe about a little bit smaller than the cat, actually, is about how big the bell is. And, but I was like, well, it has a little thing on the bottom. So I was like, naturally, I just grabbed the little dangly thing and I ring it really hard. And all these wasps fly out of the bottom of it. I was like, oh, shit. And they start swarming around. And one of them, a couple of them stung me. Like, one of them stung me in the chest. I was
Oh my God.
They were living up inside of the bell pretty much. So I run away from the area.
And they were pissed.
Dude, they were furious. I mean, and I'm sure I'm probably not the first one to do that. Why they would decide to, build their house in a bell, who knows? But, they're wasps. So,
they don't know.
So I find my way into the green room, and I'm in there for maybe about 30 minutes. And then our guitar player, Nick, he calls me and he's like, "Hey, Randy, dude, how do I get to the green room?" And I thought he was standing over by the stage. And but anyways, I tell him, I was like, "Hey, dude, do you see that bell on the back of the building? You got to ring that bell." And he happened to be standing right by it. And he was like, as soon as I said that, I heard ding, 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 ding. I was like, no, don't ring the bell. And he dropped his phone. I can hear him yelling like, God, all these boys. And he comes, finally, he makes his way to the green room. And he's like, what the fuck, dude? Why'd you tell me why'd you tell me to ring the bell, man?
Oh my God, that's some dumb shit I would pull. I'd be like, I did something stupid, so everybody has to do this.
Oh man, I felt really bad. He said he got stung on his hand pretty bad, and then he dropped his coat. He was more mad about him dropping his soda than anything.
Oh my God, that is so funny. I have nothing that I can even vaguely relate to that, but that's gold. That is gold. That is something I would do. Be like, yeah, you need to do this because I did this and it was stupid. So.
Oh man, I mean, honestly in 2016, man, that was like such a busy year for us. We were we had just put out our record Never Alone, and I remember they just kept bouncing us from tour to tour to tour. We lived in pretty much at that point where we were still touring in a van, and we lived in Decker's van for about 6 months out on the road. I remember that year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. In and out, day after day. Another really hilarious story was, I wish I still had this picture, but I lost my computer and I ended up deleting. I lost like all these photos, but I had this one picture. We were playing Carolina Rebellion that year, and I remember we're like one at the time. We're like one of the opening bands for the festival, and there's all these we pull up and we're like, where do we park at? And the guy said, "Oh yeah, just go park over there on top of the hill, over by where all those buses are." So, and then we pull around all these buses and then park the van and walk away. And I could just look, and I could see all these multi-million-dollar tour buses with these trailers and these crews. And then in the very front, you see this old van that's kind of beat up with this really faded black trailer on the back. And I remember I had this. It was a really comical picture. I wish I still had that thing, but unfortunately I lost it.
Funny. That reminds me, and I don't want to call out the band because I think they would get mad at me for telling the story, but I did a festival with a band last year, and we pretty much had to break into the festival. There was no instructions on how to get in. It was just
oh my God.
Oh, I have to go this way. Move the gate. I don't know what's going on. It was nuts.
We've actually had, I don't want to say which festival but there was one where we were on, I think it was in 2018, and it's a 3-day festival. It's one of the really big ones. And we were playing Saturday, and on Friday, they lined up a ton of press for us to do at the festival. But the festival didn't want to let us in because we weren't playing that day. So we actually physically had to sneak into the festival. We had to have somebody. I remember we had to show up at 6:30 in the morning the day before, and somebody, or 7:30, whatever it was, but way early in the morning. And we had to be snuck into the festival so we could could do our press.
Oh my God. That's crazy. Oh my god, that is absolutely fucking nuts, man. Well,
Oh.
hopefully we can all get back out touring and doing this crazy shit soon.
I know.
Hopefully
I know.
they figure all this out.
I mean, we've had offers to like to go do things, but it's like at the same time we're really worried about everybody's safety, you know, and safety obviously comes first before us playing shows. You know, it's the main concern. But I mean, we're really dying to get back out there on the road. You know, every day we text each other, okay, blah, blah, what can we do today? What are we gonna do when we going back out? We're actually in our band text thread. We're talking about shows for next year already. So, and I don't want to say anything yet, but I know we're booked on quite a few festivals that are for coming out next year. I think a couple of them we might have announced already.
Right. Well, hopefully they get all this figured out. We can get back out doing those fucking festivals and being out on the road doing this stuff, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Randy. I know you don't do these a lot, so I really appreciate you coming on.
It's actually the first one I've done, so thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah, I'm so glad you could stop on, man. I really appreciate it.
Okay. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
See you there, Andy. Okay, Randy from guys. I'm trying to see who all. I had a bunch of people pop in. Oh, we got Mr. Kor Rozic in here. Here, let's bring him on real quick. What it is.
What it is.
What's good, man? How are you?
Are you like?
Oh my god!
Are you like up in?
You were.
What'd you say?
Am I what? I was
like
mocking you. I just said what it is.
Yeah, I heard what you said, but no, like, are you like up in space or something? You're like in a black hole somewhere, like.
I like Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun. I don't know.
All right, no, I just wanted to make sure you were like still with us. Like, I don't know, like.
Yeah, I'm in Satan's hellhole. It's fine. I do see we do have Calico popping in. I did kind of tease a special guest because I wasn't sure if she was going to be able to make it or not. So I'm going to pop her in. I'm going to leave Cor on too if he wants to add any 2 cents worth.
Sure.
Let's add her.
Hello.
Hey, doll. How are you? I'm so glad you could make it on.
I'm good. Hey, how's it going? Sorry, we're getting ready for Bisto Blanco's going to do a live stream with the Monsters of Rock. So I'm building our set currently. I don't know if you can see her. Whoop, shoot. That's supposed to be me. That's what I look like when I'm on the clock.
Oh, wow.
This is what I look like when I'm off the clock.
That is so cool. I always thought your mannequins on stage were always like the dopest things ever.
I make them all. So we,
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I make all the set pieces because my backyard is concrete, so I can do those things.
Yeah, you kind of just take everything. You can paint stuff and not worry about it staying.
I know. Well, it's so funny because you would never, whenever I come and go from a show, nobody ever recognizes me. They're always like, "Oh, are you Calico's cousin?" I'm like, "Yeah, yes," because this is normally what I
noticed that. I noticed that in Cleveland because you came in like this big like hat and you kind of like had like a Woodstock attire and everyone's like, "Is that Calico?" And I'm just like, I'm gonna say no because she probably doesn't want bothered right now.
No, it's funny. I think when I feel like whatever you do for work, you just don't want to dress like that when you're not at work.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like there's so much like paint and glitter and glue and all that stuff. And I mean, that's just when we're doing Bisto. It's like a lot of other times, you know, like on film and television, like I'll do roles where, you know, I'm a soccer mom, which is hysterical for all kinds of reasons. But that's my business. That's what I do for a living, is play other people. So yeah. I just try to soften it up a little, man.
Yeah. Get the hippie vibes going on.
Who needs a pool guy? Not me.
Yeah. You got this. You got this. I believe in you.
But yeah, I just wanted to pop in. We have a live stream on the 15th It's on Facebook. So it's be Beasto Live, brought to you by the Monsters of Rock. So now you know all the cool stuff you see on stage. These tiny little crab danglers made all of them.
I did not. I actually didn't know that, and I feel like I should have known that. I had no idea that you made your own stuff. That is really fucking cool. I love that.
I do. Well, because you get an idea at like 4:00 in the morning, and I mean, who am I gonna call? The Ghostbusters? Like I just go, I know where I can get a mannequin, and I know where there's a CO2 gun, and I know this and that, and so yeah, it's like the quickest way from like vision to like actually having it is just doing it yourself. And if you can't figure it out, there's YouTube. So like the first time I was like, how do I burn something safely with a blowtorch? I was like, and then someone showed me. I
feel that though. It'll be like 4 a.m, and I'm like, I have this really cool photo idea, but nobody's here, and I can't bother anybody with this. So I'm gonna throw on a bunch of makeup and put my camera on a timer and just roll with it.
And just do it yourself. One of the coolest photo shoots I ever saw, there was this photographer named Gabrielle Geiselman, and she set up her camera. She was having like a mental breakdown, like a full-on melt. And this was years ago. And she set up her camera on a self-timer and just put on a bunch of red lipstick and then had a full-on meltdown. So she was like crying and like rubbing her face, and it was this series of all of like that, and it caught the most beautiful angles and like real emotion, and it was just so cool. I really loved it.
Yeah, I think I remember kind of
like a mental
that.
breakdown in the moment.
Yeah, but you're catching every nanosecond of, so everywhere she was pulling her face and like, and she wasn't posing, she was really crying, and so it's where the wrinkles and the tears were, you couldn't have manufactured it. It was too perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I think I remember seeing that. Actually, now that you mention it, I remember seeing something similar at least. And it's always really, that's one of the reasons I love photographing live concerts so much, is because you get that raw emotion. And it's kind of like the same thing you're talking about. Catching like that raw, like in the moment thing that you can't like just pose or replicate. Like it's something that you can get in a magazine, a photo shoot.
I mean, anybody that's in a band, I'm sure everybody can attest to this. Like, the most awkward thing in the world are set up band photo shoots, because it's like, how do you not look like there's, and especially if you're funny, like all Pisto Blanco, incredible musicians, consummate professionals, but great showmen, but also really funny people. So it's hard to look like, I don't know. It's just, you catch Beasto live. If you ever just Google Beasto Blanco, the photos are like, because we have the privilege of knowing so many great photographers, and we are so theatrical and so like, we build things and do things. But just trying to get a band shot is hysterical and takes the longest ever. The outtakes is what you should use, because everyone's like, how can you make it work? The worst thing you could tell somebody is try and look hard. Try and look metal. I couldn't do it to save my life. But if the intro music is rolling and somebody puts a spotlight on me, it's like right? Because I'm not thinking about it. You're like, all right, Calico, look hard. I'm like, what's up? I'm pretty much the most metal chick ever. Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you look like anytime someone tries to like tell me like, oh, you need to like look like hard for this photo, or you need to look edgy. Like I look like the biggest fuck boy on Tinder. Like I can't help it. Like, that's how everybody is.
Yeah, well, it's a testament.
You're the only person I matched with.
But it's like on Christmas when we were kids, and like, the family would do like go to Kmart or Walmart or whatever, like family photo shoots. It's the exact opposite. When you go, everybody smile and try and look nice. Everyone's like, just the teenager always looks angry. The mom is always like, dad is always like trying to look dad.
Like trying to like push everybody.
Yeah. So
like, okay, guys, you're gonna look happy.
Everyone look happy. Well, that's like everyone look metal. Everyone look happy. It just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't read. I think the most metal I look is if I'm cleaning a bathroom, because A, I've got angst. B, I'm on scrubbing, so it's just like that's my natural metal face. And maybe a little more eyeliner.
That's like the natural. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
my-
It's like I
my
look angry cleaning my bathroom.
Right, exactly. So what else are you guys up to today?
This stream's been my thing today, man. I've been prepping for it all day. It's been like my savior since obviously like all the touring stuff's been canceled. I've been mainly focusing on the podcast stuff. So
He's right. You do look like you're in a space hole. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would guess the vacuum of outer space here. I would guess a rad studio over there, and then clearly I'm in Southern California because the sun is like.
Yeah, this is my self-indulgence.
I need to get a new
wall, where it's
backdrop.
just like
Oh yeah, let me see it.
all my tour posters, you know.
Heck
Like,
yeah! Oh, I know that girl.
travel poster. Yeah, you know her.
I know that girl. She's a lord.
Yeah, that was our big tour last year. That was probably one of the best tours we ever did. Nita's the best.
Yeah, she's
And,
really great to work with. I mean, but I also think like our organization, sort of as a rule, sort of like, I mean, knock on wood. I don't even know if this is real. We've always attracted those kind of musicians. We've always attracted people that were not just good on stage and not just amazing musicians, but also really business savvy and have their own thing on also, because that's great. And it's not encouraged in every, big, humongous band. A lot of times they prefer
it's not. I mean,
stay kind of.
I mean, we learned so much on that tour. I mean, we've done tours before, but in a way, it's kind of an extension of the Alice camp as far as how they run such a tight ship. So we adapted to that, luckily, very quickly. But when we got on the tour, we kind of had PTSD in a way from past tours. I was like, wait a minute. You guys actually like us? You want us to be your friend? Wait, you want us to go to the movies with you? I was like, what?
Well, it's like
I wasn't used to that.
We all fall from the same tree. And so it's like, we all kind of learned from the other bands we were in, like Chuck from Beasto was also in Dio and Alice and we, all this stuff. And so they are not just around for as many years as they have by accident. You know what I mean? They keep the same crew, they keep the same band forever because it's such a great environment. And then when you go off and do your own thing, you want to run it like Alice, you want to run it like Dio, you want to run it, and you just make lifelong connections and lifelong friends. And it doesn't make any sense to me to go out on tour with a band that you're just tolerating. Does that make sense? Like, why would you just listen to their demos? Do you like it? If you like it, great. Then do it together. But I've definitely been on and been a part of some tours where it was like, oh, we hate these guys. And I'm going, then why did it? I mean, I get the business of it, but you are stuck with these people. So we've been really lucky so far. Like, we just did a run with Beasto went out with Hailstorm and Palais Royale. And it was a teen fest. It was big sheds, right? Standing room only. And it was all teenagers. And it was so cool to see that demographic react to Beasto. Because, I mean, obviously you see what I look like in real life. But when I'm at work, I'm 7'4", like cyborg with like dreads and everything. And these little girls are going, yeah. And I'm going, yeah. I'm living my fantasy.
Yeah, I think
you're living your fantasy. So it was cool. I think one of the coolest moments ever was after that run. It was last year, and then Halloween was right after. And I started getting pictures tagged on Instagram where girls were dressing up like me, like my character for Halloween. And I
awesome.
I got a little emotional. I was like, wow, that really reached them. Because like what you know what I mean? Like, and like what I was selling wasn't like dirty, raunchy sex. It was like this powerful, like almost like futuristic sort of Charlize Theron in Mad Max kind of thing. And you're drawn to it, but you're not like, oh, that's so like skeezy and slutty.
Yeah.
There's a power and a sexuality where it's like, this girl could 100% kick my ass. And that's what I was selling. And I think that I really it grabbed onto some people. And I was really touched by that.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
huge
it's
whenever you
definitely-
can.
Sorry, you guys both heard this.
I said I think it's always cool when you can play to a younger demographic, because obviously with metal there's some sort of a stigma. You know, I think our fan base is kind of like 28 to 58. You know, so I think whenever we get a chance to, you know, play for younger people, I think the greatest feeling is when you find out, you know, like the parent comes up and like they're like, oh, this is my kid's first ever show. It's like, wow, I'm like. Yeah. I'm freaking nobody. I'm their first ever show.
And I love that. And then
it's a great feeling to know that.
Absolutely. And they may even go and you know, pick up a guitar that night because they loved what they saw so much. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm just, I'm really encouraged, you know, seeing a demographic that I thought was like sort of just like lost to kind of disposable music. And
yeah.
Come up to me and go, I wrote my very first song since I saw you last. Like, here's what it sounds like. Will you take the demo? Will you listen to it? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. So it's alive. It's not dead yet.
Nah, rock is not dead yet.
No. And I mean, like, I'm really excited for this, obviously for obvious reasons, because we're all stuck at home. But for this this live stream, the Monsters of Rock have really been really integral in getting shows out to people. You know, let's say that you're like really stuck at home, like New York, you know what I mean? Like LA.
Yes, I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm in Pasadena, so I'm a little bit up in the hills, but like if you are, you know, this is a live stream concert and we're going to bring you the whole thing, like all the explosions, all the bells and whistles. And it's more for me than anything. Like as I was painting this robot today, I was just like, this brings me so much joy. I'm so excited. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I have so much to do. I have exploding cannons to find and I have robots to paint.
You're like, I have a show to do. I'm so excited.
All right. So I'm going to let you guys go because I see who's Dakota and Calico. Hi from Jeremy from the Rock Roll Residency. Hi. But I've got to finish painting. I'm going to give you one more close look at my handiwork today because I'm really proud. Her eyes glow in the dark. Look at her. Isn't she beautiful?
Looks great. Ready for war.
That is so dope. That is so dope.
I will turn into this in a mere
ready to go.
100 days. We'll see you guys then. I hope you guys come stop by.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I will. Thank you, Calico.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Okay, let me see who
Cool
else
deal.
I got here. Let's bring on Ian, because I think Ian joined first.
I don't know if I did, actually, but it's good to see you guys. Hey.
It's nice to see you, man. I haven't seen you since the Queensryche tour, which seems to be the only tour that I'm doing this year.
Yes, I know. Same for me. It's been quite some time. And I don't think I've met your co-host. If you would care to introduce me. I know he did come to our show, but I was kind of stuck on the stage doing my sound check and backstage and sort of like completely sequestered from you people. So good to meet you. Happy to be with you.
This is Core, Mr. Korozik. I don't really know if I introduced him on this show. I kind of was like, he's here, Ian's here, everybody's cool. For those who don't know, this is Korozik. I feel like I don't know which side to point on. I feel like there's some weird Brady bunch.
I don't know how this is showing up. So I can point. There we go. Yes. Hello. No, wait. Hello, Core.
I'm like, it's like the Brady Bunch. No, but for those who don't know, Core Rozik is a musician out of New York. He's the madman frontman of Core Rozik.
There we go. I was just going to ask who you had been touring with because I was listening to a little bit of the previous discussion and I didn't really catch that.
So why don't you introduce yourself, Core?
Yeah, so I'm Korozik of Korozik. I'm the singer creator of the whole thing, and we were talking with Calico Cooper, and we were just referencing the tour I did last year with Nita Strauss.
Okay, cool.
And just how awesome, just that whole experience. Yeah, just a great group of people. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does seem that way. We got to play one show with them, and I'm trying to remember what the tour was. I'm going to say maybe 2019 spring or something like that. It was our final show of the tour, and it was the one show that they decided to hop onto. And I just had a really good experience with them. You know, everybody was very nice, very welcoming. They were like coming into our world for one day, it felt like, and they were super respectful of it. And Nita was like not at all what I was expecting, I guess, personally. She was just like very like self-effacing and very quiet.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like really easy to have a conversation with.
Was it which
let me think
town that?
It was here in California somewhere. I'm gonna say it wasn't Sacramento. No, I'm really blanking on it, unfortunately. Because I want to say it was Holy Diver, but it wasn't. Because that was the show where we had some other guest come out. I don't know. It all blurs together. I'm sure you know how that is.
Yeah, it sure does.
Especially with those runs that
I wasn't.
John
I know
does.
that much.
By the same token, I was trying to remember all the shows that you came to on the Queensryche tour, because I know there were 3 or 4 maybe, and I've kind of forgotten where all of them were as well. I know the Poughkeepsie show you two both came to, and then Emmy, I think you came to one like near Pittsburgh or something as well. It was a very strange place. Yeah. I'd never been to that venue before. I think it's like brand new.
Yeah, neither had I. It was so weird. It was the venue in McKees Rocks, which is like a suburb of Pittsburgh. I actually really like that venue. The other show that I did was in Glenside at the Keswick. And I don't know if you remember, but I got really mad at a security guard at that show.
Yes, I do. I remember you messaging me about it. I just
heard about that.
I didn't know what the situation was. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with, I think security at rock concerts or any concert in general is very much needed. And especially there are some photographers that are out there, and I'm not calling anybody out specifically, I'm talking generally. I don't want anyone coming at me. I'm talking generally. Some of them want more than what they are allowed to do. And I understand why security kind of has to step in. But when I'm like, here are my credentials and this is what I'm doing, and they're like, no, that's cute, but you're still not doing it, I get very upset.
Well, yeah, if you cleared it with all of us beforehand, yeah. I mean, there's no reason for that. If they're just on some sort of power trip, you know, I would imagine. I don't want to go discrediting all of the security guards out there. I'm sure there are plenty of you who are doing a good job, but I'm imagining that that line of work will attract that sort of personality occasionally. So that's unfortunate. Yeah. Because I know you always make sure to get in touch with me before shooting a show or somebody from the band, you know. So I'm sure you were all cleared, and I can't imagine why they would have given you a hard time. But yeah, you know, by the same token, like I have some stories of like where security guards would have been necessary. I think I was playing somewhere here in California with John. This is the day after we did a show in Vegas, so we did this really long drive up to wherever we were. And I think it was Fullerton, if I remember correctly. So I remember it was like near GNL or something like that, which I was excited about. But it was this tiny room. And I had this woman on my side of the stage, and she just kept getting on the stage and trying to like live stream with me, which would be like acceptable if it was something that, you know, it happened like near the end of the show when, say, we would invite like a bunch of people up. You saw that happen. Like we did the John 5, I Am John 5 dance with everybody doing the robot dance at one point. Yeah, but instead this person was just like, everybody's having fun, you know, but this person was getting into my territory at the very beginning of the show when I'm trying to get everything situated to be able to do a good show. and they were like stepping on my pedal board and changing my settings and all this stuff. It was insane.
Oh,
So I have the near monitors in, and
That's not cool.
and she kept like turning on like my heaviest distortion pedal or something and just like blowing my ears out. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on right now. But it was like a sold out show too, and the security was really good. But what happened was I couldn't communicate because of the vision lines in the building. I couldn't communicate to anyone the fact that I was having trouble. So I went through half of the show with this person continually doing this to me, and people were like,
God.
I don't know what's going on with the bass player. So eventually I think I had time to run off stage and be like, I gotta do something about this. And somebody, like, unfortunately for her, had to remove her from the building. And I feel bad for that, because it's a fan who paid to see the show, but then it's like, you're kind of ruining the show for everybody else who paid to see the show at the same time. And you're ruining my
hurts
show.
Me. Yeah, and that hurts me for you, because you're such like a calm individual too. So it was like you just have that like soft-spoken, calm like aura. So like, pick on Ian? Why? That's fucked up.
I mean, it depends on how much coffee I have, but I made a coffee point here. Actually, that's something I've been thinking about too. I'm struggling with the coffee in terms of the performance aspect. We have no shows to play right now, so I can think through this thing. I'm going to go on a tangent right now. But there's a great bass player, Tony Franklin, and I heard him do a clinic once, and he was like, the greatest thing I ever did for myself was pry myself off of caffeine. And I think it really improved my performance capabilities. And I've been thinking about that. I'm like, in terms of nervousness, like, you try to find this line where you're like, I'm amped up for the show, I have my caffeine, but then if you go too far, you're second guessing everything you do on stage. It's crazy. Anyway, that's completely unrelated. So
yeah. No, I get that. You get shaky if you drink too much caffeine. You get so anxious. Like, you have to find that happy medium.
You really do. And for our type of music too, with the John 5 stuff, where like split-second decisions can just ruin a song, because you're going to end up on the wrong note and then be just stuck. You don't really want to be in that mode where you're wired,
Yeah. Yeah, where you're like, oh God, like, I'm so jittery right now from all this caffeine. Yeah, no, I get that.
That's
because I get like
that's when bad things happen. And that's when bad things happen also in relation to like having photographers all up in your face and all that kind of thing. I can imagine that whole, what was it? The guy from Eagles of Death Metal and Queens of the Stone Age who like kicked a photographer that one time.
Yeah.
I don't condone that behavior, but I can understand, I guess, scenarios where somebody's having a really hard time and they've just had it, And in that scenario,
I think.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think that was alcohol, not caffeine.
I'm sure it was not caffeine.
Wasn't he drunk or something?
There could have been countless other things involved in that, but yeah.
Trust me, though, I've been in the pit with enough photographers that needed kicked in the head. So, like, I'm not going to talk shit on this guy for kicking a photographer, because I've wanted to kick numerous.
Oh, that's funny. You said it then, not me. I didn't go.
Yeah. I'll go there, because I have to, like, it sucks when you're in like the middle of a pit and like you have that one guy that either won't stop trying to talk to you, and it's like, dude, there's a band playing. Like, I'm trying to do my job. Or they like get sporadic and just start like pushing everybody. And it's like, look, we're not doing this.
Yeah, we're not doing this. I have seen that. I forgot about that behavior, like the professional schmooze fest down there. Like, we're actually trying to entertain people, and then people are just like having their little meeting. I don't know what's going on. But
I think that happened once.
You've always been like so incognito down there. It's amazing to me. You get in and you get your shots, and I barely even realize that you're there. And then I see them later, and you've captured like all of these, like you were talking about just previously, really interesting moments of people like me, getting down, interacting with the audience at one point. I remember you took a good photo of her, like me up on the ego riser, like for the split second that I do that, you know.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, we lost her. Where did she go?
She fell into the black hole.
Into the black hole, yeah. She's been consumed by Cygnus. That's a reference for you music fans out there. Oh my gosh, now they're in the background. But we don't have a microphone.
No, we cannot hear you. Uh-oh. Technology at its finest.
Yes, indeed. I was going to ask you guys if it would have been better for me to be wearing headphones, because I'm not like a pro streamer by any stretch of the imagination. But I guess we seem to be functioning okay. So.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I got to learn all this stuff because I'm going to be doing my own variety show on YouTube soon, where I might do stuff like this. So I'm going to have to get with the program pretty soon.
I know. It seems like that's just the way things are headed for most of us, especially since we have no real gigs to speak of for a while here.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, what can I do to push my brand and kind of enhance my core personality? I'm like, I'll do a YouTube show. Might as well. Gives me something to do every week, you know? So
exactly. Gives a lot of people
work. It's going to take a little time to get show prep. Yeah, I mean, because I don't know.
I can't tell.
Nobody knows.
Nope. Still nothing.
Uh-oh.
Wait, she has an idea.
Yeah, this whole situation has been very frustrating as far as like, especially for us artists. It's like, you know, we want to put out new music or we want to do this, and it's like we don't know what the end game is. It's like it's very hard to figure out how to plan stuff right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're lucky if you're an artist who has something that's kind of been in the pipeline, and you know, for us, we do have like a live record from the past 2 tours. And the last time I saw John, I think it was like March 17th or so. It was like the day that people had just found out that Tom Hanks and his wife were diagnosed with coronavirus, and I think they were traveling in Australia too. So we had our tour booked for Australia in May, and we were like, uh-oh, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
You know, but we do have that record that's actually, I think, right around the corner now. They're just kind of working on the video component of it and that kind of stuff. And I, you know, as things are rolling right now, we're just starting to get back into the process of working on follow-up. And hopefully by the time we're there, you know, we'll be able to get back into touring again. But that all remains to be seen. You know, we pushed those Australia dates into next year, and they're still on the calendar, but it just is dependent on, you know, the situation being under control, mainly.
Yeah, I mean,
things. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that at least by the springtime, you know, we can kind of go back out. I mean, for us, it's. I mean, we're writing the record right now, and in some ways, it's like a blessing in disguise because I feel like we have enough full record. But I already told my guitar player I want to block a week this month and just do some more writing. You know, even if we get like 2 albums worth of material, then we pick the best, you know, because as much as, you know, our management wants us to put something out, I'm kind of hesitant. I feel like you know, where we're at this point in our career, it's like I feel we need to be able to go back out a new record and be able to go on tour and be seen in front of new faces. You know, it's like a band like Pearl Jam could just put out a record right now. It doesn't matter. A million people will still watch it, listen to it, buy it. When you're still kind of in that up and coming level right now, it's like, how do you adapt to what's going on? We need to jump on a big tour with, like, say, you guys or something like that, and go out and get turned on to new heads and have our current fan base come to those shows on top of that, you know? So I think that's the bit of the struggle we're having is like, how do we roll with this right now? You know?
It's a super fine kind of tightrope to be walking. I mean, we're kind of doing the same thing. You know, we had just kind of built in the direction of tying ourselves to a larger headlining act and being an opener for a change. And I think it really showed like exponential growth for us on the last tour that we did with Queensryche. So we definitely, I would think, want to continue more in that direction. And so that just does require us to have all of the, things in order to be able to do that when the time arises for us to be able to do it again. But like, to your point, it is a really good time, though, if you have the ability to be writing with someone or by yourself, just to be putting that material away for a rainy day, at least, or at least to build up a catalog so that you can choose through some stuff, because obviously if you're just trying to sit down and work a day right, not everything is going to be a golden great immediately, but you certainly will stumble upon them. That's for sure.
No. Yeah, I think for us, it's like our debut came out in 2018, and like the second record should have came out already this year. So I think now that everything's being pushed back that much more, in my mind, I'm like, well, all right, the next record will come out in 2021, but like we better have something for 2022, like ready to go, play at least. I think everyone's gonna be playing matchup at this point,
I agree with you.
Prepared, a lot of people kind of sit and it's go time. They'll be like, what do I do now? I gotta like scramble, make something happen.
We actually
we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what happened. My camera just like had a brain aneurysm. It's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, it happens. I'm perfectly familiar with that.
Yeah, we all know technology. It's lovely, right?
Yeah. Oh man, it's miserable. I'm just trying to get into doing the video.
You got sucked into the portal.
Yeah, I did. I got sucked into the black hole sun. Oh my god. Well, thank you for coming on, Ian, and thank you for putting up with my bullshit on my difficulties.
I'm absolutely happy to be here. Thank you for having me here.
And hopefully we can all get back out on the road soon.
Yes, 100%. 100%. And hopefully we'll have some new music for you. And, stay tuned for that, that live record coming soon. And also, I'm working on, I never thought I'd do this. You interviewed me once before, and I said I'm really not into like solo bass music or show off stuff like that. I'm trying not to go that route, but I am doing some solo bass competition at the moment. So we'll see where that goes.
Right. Yeah, you got a lot going on over there for sure.
I do, yeah. Logan and I just did like a 3-hour cover gig last weekend, so that was fun.
Yeah, you've been busy doing different stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it, and hopefully this shit gets wrapped, and hopefully we'll see that, like you said, that live album coming out soon.
Yes, look forward to that. That should be great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ian. I really appreciate it, man.
Okay, guys, take care. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, bro. Okay, now that I'm done getting sucked into the portal that is my studio, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, let me.
So when do I get some one-on-one time?
I got you. I just had some technical difficulties. So
yeah.
Something out that you're working on. I don't know if that's really have a date for it necessarily, but you guys did tour for Vengeance Overdrive for pretty much like a year and a half. And you mentioned that you did the Nita tour. You guys toured with OTEP for like a hot minute. So what other kind of, I guess you guys had a bunch of videos out. You did like a little bit of like a DIY video with like the Can't Stop video, and then you had Mistress, which was like very produced. But I feel like Can't Stop got like a little bit more attention, even though not like much more attention than the Mistress video, but it got a little bit more attention.
Yeah, I think there's a variety of reasons for that. I think the band was already up and running a little bit more at that point, but I don't know. I think the video was very genuine. I mean, we literally shot a guerrilla style in one day for $0, and it was honest. You know, a lot of times bands try to like front like they got like $1 million budget, and we were just like, nope, there's no money in this one. Like we're just, you know, we're just going to just make the best of it and have fun with it instead of trying to take ourselves too seriously. You know, I figured with the Mistress video, it was kind of like we were trying to produce almost like a horror, you know, movie. So with Can't Stop, I guess it was kind of like a B movie or something. And I think that's something that we'll periodically do. I think some videos will have more of a budget and some won't, and I think that's for a lot of, you know, DI up and coming bands. Just it's what it is. But I think we made the best of that. You know, it was a lot of fun doing it. You know, I enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah, I thought the video was pretty cool, and I like seeing like the versatility, because like you're obviously like, I feel like the band's a very serious band, but obviously like I know you, so I know that you really aren't like the super serious human being that's just like walking around like raw all the time. You know what I mean? So it was kind of cool to see the Can't Stop video where it was like, okay, this is kind of funny, this is really cool and kind of quirky. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, maybe in some ways it was a little bit of a risk because it was kind of silly with no budget. And some people might, you know, view that in a negative way. But for me, I just kind of felt like, you know what, if I can do this and pull it off, then sky's the limit after this. Pretty much at that point, I just feel like I can do anything now, because if I decide to go back there and be kind of silly again, it won't be a total shock to people. They'll be like, oh, this is just Core being kind of silly on this one. You know, I'm all for being like, you know, brolic and tough and mysterious, but you know, you can't take yourself too seriously. If you do for too long, then it's just not fun anymore, you know.
Yeah. So I know that you have some new music that you've been writing about. Is there anything that you can talk about with that, or anything you want to share when it comes to the new music for your Core Locos?
Yeah, so I mean, the new Korazic record is in the works. It's going to be another full-length concept record. I think the story will be probably just as strong, if not stronger, than the first record's concept. But the concept at the same time might be a little bit looser in a way. It's still in the early stages, so you know, I'm still not sure. Will there be a lot of interlude skits like the last record? Will there be less? There's still a lot of unanswered questions of how the finished product is going to be, but there is a handful of songs on the table, and me and Andy are going to go back into the woods. That sounds weird. And you know, what are they doing in the woods? No, and we're going to do some more demos and some more writing. I'm going to push him, you know, because we did a session a few months ago, went really well, and a lot of those songs are now contenders for the record. But you know, we really hadn't gotten together and wrote really much since the first record. We just were like touring and just living that tour life, you know. So we weren't really focusing on stuff. So in a weird way, even though we have time on our side, I feel like we're kind of making up for lost time, because we probably should have done more sooner. But now that we have the time, we're actually doing it. So I don't know. I think I'm hoping to have about 2 albums worth of material to kind of choose from. And I already have ideas of what the next record will be. So as you can see, as I'm ranting, we're clearly all over the place. Yeah. But the short answer is yes, we're working on new music. I am officially producing 4 tracks so far. 4 tracks have been signed on to be produced. I'm doing 3 with my producer Anthony Lapardo, who produced the first record, Vengeance Overdrive. And we're also still very early stages, but we're going to be doing so far 1 song with my friend John Sustar. And John is an up-and-coming producer, writer, who has worked with Twisted, and who is also has been working with Motionless in White. He did some songs for Motionless's last record. He did the song Code, and he's working with them on their new record. So in between that, he's fiddling around with us bozos. So the record's going to be different. I really hope it's going to be satisfying to people. I'm nervous as hell about it because, you know, I'm trying to find a way to give the fans we have some of the same old shit, but we're also trying to not do the same old shit. But I really hope that if it is the same old shit, it's just as good as the old shit. You know, I think it's that kind of sophomore jitters, if you will. I think lots of bands get really nervous about that second record because I always feel like when you look at classic bands, it's usually it's like their second record that's like the defining record sometimes for bands, you know, and you know, whether it's Disturbed's Believe or Marilyn Manson's Antichrist Superstar. I don't know if I should be putting Koraz into that conversation, but you know, I just want people to go, all right, you know, these guys are good and they're on their way. So this process has been a little bit more business than pleasure, but hopefully when it's done, you know, people will really like it.
I definitely, I agree, and I don't really think you're putting yourself in a category with anybody by saying that, because I feel like there's a lot of bands, especially, like, you guys are definitely not a grunge band by any means, but even if you look at the grunge scene, like, a lot of the second albums for, like, the grunge bands were a huge deal, like Alice in Chains with Bouchard, and Nirvana with Nevermind. I'm pretty sure Nevermind was their second record.
It was.
I can't remember Soundgarden's second record off the top of my head, but like it was definitely a common theme. So I definitely can understand why there would be some feeling of pressure for a second record.
Yeah, there is a lot of pressure. I mean, it's mostly put on myself, but you know, we're just living in a weird time. We're living in a digital world, and you know, as much as I'd love to just sit here and write a bunch of songs that sound like it's 1987, you know, you still obviously have to make something that's going to be somewhat contemporary to the modern ear. So we're trying to find a way to really find that happy medium where it's still us, it's still true, it's still genuine, it's still core, but you know, someone who may not normally listen to Core Ozic, if they're listening to Core Ozic in 2020, they could understand it. You know, so we're trying to mix different elements of yesteryear and today.
Kind of like mix modern with classic and see what the fuck happens with it. Put it all in the blender.
It's all about the blender.
Well, I'm gonna bring Jeremy on because Jeremy's kind of been hanging out for a minute. I know I'm thinking I forgot about him. We bring him in.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. It's getting dark too, so you need to have me on, or you're not going to see my face.
It's starting to get dark there.
Yeah, I've got to come out here because my son and his friend.
Where are you? Sweden?
Tennessee, Nashville. My son and his friend are making a shitload
of
noise in there, so I have to come outside.
Honestly,
I'm in the woods. I'm in my tree house.
You're chilling in your treehouse. No, seriously though, Nashville's been
That's
an
cool,
area.
man. That's the Playboy, man. Nashville's awesome.
Yeah.
Normally, yeah, it's pretty cool. I wouldn't know because I don't really go out. I mean, nothing really to do now.
Yeah, yeah, with everything shut down.
The idiots are still hanging out down on Broadway, though. I mean, it's still packed to the gills down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're causing a lot of problems down there.
That's not good.
Yeah, if they could just chill out for a little while, you know, everything could simmer down.
Yeah, and go back to normal, or at least some semblance of normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've been wanting to go. I was actually playing this summer before everything kind of got shut down. I was planning on making a trip down to Nashville because I have some friends down there, and I love I just like the concept of the music scene because everyone I've met that's like in the music scene in Nashville has always been so friendly to me.
Man, I'm native, so I've watched this thing grow into what it is. The cool thing is it's really whatever you want, man. If you want jazz, there's a jazz club. If you want metal, if you want rock and roll, if you want just standard 70s, 80s covers, if you want like country, classic country, whatever you want musically, you can find it on any given night. It's really cool. Even like Broadway, for instance, like, you know, that's not really my scene. It'd be like Times Square for a New Yorker. But man, you know, like more power to them. I have so many friends that make livings down there playing, and you know, it's just hundreds of clubs, and they're all packed all the time. It's a really cool thing.
Like a lot of congestion in one area.
Yeah, it's cool. Even if you're not into it, it's still cool. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been researching honestly like a lot of like photography spots down there to see like where like the cool spots are. Just because I like I said, I just like the scenic aspect of it, but like I said, I've never been there. It just looks really cool to me. It's like a tourist.
Well, when all this simmers down and everything's normal, come on down. Like, you will have fun. I can pretty much guarantee that.
Yeah, everyone's telling me that the scene down there is great, and everyone that I've met down there has been absolutely phenomenal towards me, and it's great.
And like, my family of rock and roll friends has just grown exponentially over the past 5 years. It was like, for a while there was a new guy every month. Like, Eddie Ojeda from Twisted Sister moved here the first week of March, which was the week before COVID. So he moved here, and then everything got shut down, but we still hooked up through a mutual friend and have had like a few 2-hour phone conversations, and, you know, I've only hung out for a few minutes because with masks on one time.
Like 6 feet apart, like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird, but it was cool.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Yeah, it's definitely like a weird era we're all in, because even like trying to network with different people, even if you like kind of know them, it's still weird because it's like I can't like go to a show and like meet new people or be around kind of, I guess, common people. It's such a weird time right now.
Yeah. Have you done any gigs lately? When's the last time you played? What was your name again? I'm sorry. I know your name, Amy, but
yeah.
Oh, Corn.
What was that? Sorry, you broke up.
Yeah, my name is Core, bro.
Core, got it. Cool.
Core
when was the last time you played a gig?
The last time I played a gig was February 15th, Fishhead Cantina in Maryland.
Wow.
And it's funny. It was really weird. I was actually supposed to do a short run in March for South by Southwest. And one of my friends, our Truth, was a wrestler. He's also a rapper. He was in New York City in town doing PR, and we hung out briefly. And I was like, hey, man, I'm doing South by Southwest too. And he's like, nah, dog. He's like, we got the call, coronavirus. We're off of it. And I'm like, wow, really? You're off of it? And
Actually,
literally
the
like the next
of
day.
South by Southwest, that was how I knew it was real, was when that got canceled.
Right. Yeah. After he told me he's backing out of it, literally the next day, I made an official announcement they were done. And we were still supposed to do a headlining in Kentucky on March 18th. And I'll never forget it. It was like a week before the show. We were just like, maybe we shouldn't do it. And the venue was like, yeah, I guess we shouldn't, but we probably still could. And then I think it was literally to the date, I think on March 18th in New York, they were officially like, we're shutting down. So it's almost like, even if like we hadn't canceled it, it would have been canceled for us anyway, you know? So yeah, I've been stuck home since March, man. Yeah. And being in New York is just, it was hostile. I was very fortunate enough that I have a house in Virginia. I actually went up there for like 2 months and just did some writing. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, man.
It was in New Jersey. I did an acoustic gig with Tiffany, and she was supposed to go the next week to play South by Southwest, and we all found out that night that South by Southwest had been canceled. And yeah, I knew that it was real. And I don't know if you guys remember a tornado rolling through Nashville and basically destroying the city. So the Rock and Roll Residency was doing a benefit, man. And I mean, we had such a cool guest lineup. We had all of Hailstorm and Ray Lugier and Rachel from Skid Row, and just
Awesome
a
drummer.
shitload of people. We had sold more tickets than we had ever sold. I had all these awesome donations, like Gene Simmons was the first one to send me a box of cool Kiss shit, and Brian Forsythe from Kix gave me his pants that he wore on the Blow My Fuse tour and a poster where he's wearing those pants.
Wow.
I mean, I had awesome shit, and like all the companies that we work with donated something, and then we had to cancel. And now all that shit is still sitting in my living room 6 months later. So then, like, you know, now the tornado is like yesterday's news, and you know, we still at some point have a show to play because we sold about 800 tickets, and it's still just kind of like hanging out there. And I don't know when, how that is going to happen, but we do owe Nashville a show, a benefit show at some point.
Yeah, trying to reschedule that right now is so weird too, because some people are hopeful and are like, oh, well, this is getting better. And then there's other people that are like, kind of have like a doomsday kind of look at it. And it's rough right now trying to do anything.
Man, for me, in a benefit, it makes sense when everybody's comfortable, not just because, you know, I don't want to do it for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
Like, the point of the benefit is to raise as much money as possible, and we're not going to do that if half the people are going to stay home because they're scared. So it doesn't make sense to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the weird thing about when this is going to proceed to business as usual. You know, it's not up to us. It's up to the people to decide when they're comfortable standing shoulder to shoulder with hundreds to thousands of strangers.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like you said, raising money for charity, for like something like that. It's not like I just want to go out and play a gig and get out of the house. There's more of a reason for it. So definitely rescheduling for that has to be tricky. I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, we did a live stream last Thursday, the Rock and Roll Residency, and boy, that sure did feel good, man. Like playing with my band, and
yeah,
just, you know, it wasn't just playing with anybody, you know, like we all really have a connection, and God, it felt amazing. And
tell me a little bit more for like the people that are watching that don't know what the Rock and Roll Residency is. I obviously know what it is, but I
started by me and my partner Philip Schaus in 2014. So prior to that, we had a lot of tribute bands in Nashville. We had a Thin Lizzy tribute band. We had a Kiss thing every year for charity. You know, Aerosmith. We had a tribute to metal, which included like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. He had a Van Halen tribute band, which I played bass in a couple times, and you know, it was really kind of about having fun. And this was before like the tribute thing really caught on and was a thing in every city. And we have 1 month, April 2014, where he and I didn't really have shit going on. It's like, well, man, let's try a weekly thing somewhere, and you know, we'll just like pick from all these catalogs that we know. And Chuck Garrick from Alice Cooper band Beasto Blanco had just moved to town. It's like, yeah, man, we can get Chuck to play bass, and we had a drummer friend of ours, David Parks, and we just did a month, and then it went well, so they asked us to stay, and Chuck left for the Motley Crue Alice tour, so we got another friend of ours, Judd Fuller, to come in, and it just grew and grew and grew. And then, you know, we had a bunch of cool guests, like, you know, Chuck had Alice Cooper come down once, and Roger Glover and Don Airey from Deep Purple came down, and so their album Infinite, there's a DVD of the making of the album, and we're on that from when they came out and played with us, which is really, really, really cool. Zan came out a couple times with Dax, and you know, and then there's all the guys that live here, like, you know, Skid Row and Mark Slaughter and Kip Winger and Damon Johnson, and I mean, the list is super long, and it just went on.
Damon Johnson's the man.
Yeah, man, he's a good guy. So we did that every Tuesday until the end of 2018, and that was like after we had toured with Gene Simmons, and then he passed us off to Ace Frehley, and then our schedule just got so busy that you can't really tell people that you're playing every week if you only play 26 weeks out of a 52 week year, you know. So we wrapped up the weekly thing, and man, we try to do a show like every 3 months or so. This is probably the longest we've gone without doing one. The last show we did was and it wasn't even really the kind of show that we do, which is, you know, just lots of guest singers and guest guitar players and stuff. We opened for this band called the Georgia Thunderbolts and did a 45-minute set. So this is the longest we've gone without playing since 2014.
Yeah, that's the longest I've been like out, not like photographing shows and stuff. So it's weird when you come to like that. I think I mentioned this to somebody else earlier, when you come to that halt, because like you're so in the, and I know you know what this is like, you're in that mode of tour, and then I'm working on this, that, and the other, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, COVID, and it's like this jolting stop of, wait, what's going on?
It's weird. I felt it at first, but you know, I've got a 4-year-old, so honestly, like 6 months have passed, and I barely even notice it because, you know, I'm married with kids and stuff, and then, you know, that just takes up every single day, and it flies by so fast. It's like, holy shit, it's August.
Yeah. I feel like part of it's like it feels like it's been a year since March, but then part of me is also like, oh my God, it's August already? Where did the time go?
You kind of notice by how long your hair's gotten.
Yeah. Quarantine was good for my hair. I totally feel
I think my hair got bigger just whole video cast.
My hair grew like 3 inches during Emmy's podcast.
Riz.
Yeah, prior to this, man, I always looked like Randy Rhoads.
It's the humidity.
Like, you know, a short shag cut with bangs and stuff, and now like I'm starting to look like Doug Aldrich. and I don't shave that much anymore either. I've always got like some of this stuff happening.
I can actually kind of see that.
Well, hopefully you can't see that it's gray.
Oh my gosh! So
I just dyed my hair yesterday.
Feel that. I did have one other question I did want to ask you, Jeremy. You mentioned that you worked with Gene for a while, and then he kind of passed you guys off to Ace Frehley. How did that happen? Like, how did you kind of get working with those guys?
So we did a tour of Australia where Ace opened for Gene, and Ace had asked Gene if he could use us because it wasn't going to be, you know, viable for him, you know, economically to bring his band over. And, you know, Gene said he was totally cool with it. And between Gene and, you know, Ace's team around him, you know, I think Ace was kind of wanting to make a change. I can't speak for him, but I kind of get that vibe from everybody around him. And, you know, seeing what happened, you know, I know Gene knew that the End of the Road tour was on the horizon, and he didn't want to, you know, he wanted to keep us employed, and he thought we'd be really good for Ace. So, you know, he was encouraging Ace to take us on too. So after the Australia tour wrapped up, we went to Japan with Ace, and, you know, we were doing 2 shows a day there with him, and
oh, wow.
Just went well. And, you know, we all clicked, and he knew we knew all of his stuff, and everybody in the band sang. So the vocals were really good. And, you know, he had, the Kiss Cruise was on the horizon for him too. And so in Sydney, Australia, which was the 3rd show of that tour, Gene pulled me into his dressing room. Ace is going to ask you to do the cruise. Like, well, how do you feel about that? And he's like, live and let live. I have no ego. Gene Simmons said to me, I have no ego. I know. I swear to God, he said that to me. And Ace didn't ask us immediately. It wasn't until we wrapped up the thing in Japan. He's just like, yeah, you know, hey, would you like to do the cruise? I'm like, absolutely. You know, and yeah, I've been Ace's band now for 2 years, and I started playing guitar because of Ace and Gene. I mean, they're my 2 guys. I bought my first Kiss record when I was my son's age. I was 4, and it is a trip, especially to like wake up one day and there's a video for Space Trucking, and you know, there's an animated version of myself video with Ace.
Yeah, saw that. Very cool.
It's just cool shit, man.
Yeah, it's weird sometimes, and I kind of feel that it's like, wait, I'm working with these people. This is crazy because I find that sometimes when I'm doing photos, like when I came out and shot you with Ace in Cleveland last year, I was like, oh whoa, what? Like, I'm photographing Ace Frehley. Like, is this real? Yeah, it's bizarre when it's like somebody that you look
I feel like
up to.
that pretty much every day. You know, like I could text him, and you know, I have a relationship with him, and you know, that's a crazy thing. Even Gene, like, you know, Gene's very responsive. The situations are way different. You know, Ace shows up right when it's time to go on stage and we play, and then, you know, like, hey, cool, see you later, see you tomorrow, and that's it. But, you know, Gene, we traveled together, we ate breakfast together, we hung out before the show, we had dinner together, we hung out after the show. You know, he really, really liked to hang. And
Right.
And everybody's got their media perception of that guy, but man, most of it couldn't be any more inaccurate. He's actually super cool, generous, extremely self-deprecating. I mean, everybody thinks of his big ego, but man, he can take a joke, and he can, you know, he'll rip on himself too.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like some media people, not just with him necessarily, but sometimes they'll take something that somebody says out of context and kind of try to twist it into making whatever they're trying to sell sellable. So I don't really ever believe fully.
Well, look, man, I mean, he does come off super arrogant, and you know, that is like part of his persona. I mean, the first time we did a rehearsal with him, I was scared to death, and you know, he started taking shots at me about looking like a girl and shit like that, and eventually I'm like, all right, I got to take a shot at Gene, and I did, and I was scared, and he loved it. He can take a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a shit talker necessarily, as long as you can kind of take the shit coming back at you. You know what I mean?
He totally can. I love that too. I really miss touring with him and playing with him, man. It was a good hang. He was always game to play any Kiss classic, like whatever. You got lyrics? And you know, my job was to make out the lyric sheets. Like, yeah, man, I got lyrics.
Yeah.
He was down to try anything, no matter how deep it was. And like over the course of a year and a half, we did 60 different songs, which I think made it kind of as successful as it was, you know, and people would hit multiple shows because they didn't know what we were going to play. We never did the same set twice.
Yeah.
And you know, like we were able to come at it with fan aspect, because if I wasn't on the stage with him, I definitely would have been buying a ticket and I would have been at the show. So you know, we all knew what we wanted to see and hear, and he was definitely a sport.
Right. You got to have a little bit of creative control to a degree with that too, being able to kind of help pick what you're going to play each night and not just doing the same thing.
Well, you know, like, since it's a gig and it's what we're hired to do, if Gene wanted to do the same set every night, I'd do the same set every night. You know, Ace is a little bit of a creature of habit. You know, there are always changes, but you know, we kind of stick to something he knows, and at the same time, you know, there's a lot of songs he has to do. You know, Ace has to do Shock Me, he has to do 2000 Man, he has to do Cold Gin. You know, there's like some Ace standards that have to be there, and a few songs get swapped out. But you know, the cool thing about Gene was that wasn't necessarily the case.
Yeah, I kind of see that, because like Ace, like when I think of Ace Frehley, like there's a bunch of songs like you were saying that come to mind, but not necessarily, not saying that there's not any songs that come to mind with Gene, but I don't feel like Gene's kind of held to that standard of you have to play this, and this, or
well,
like,
and he still tours with Kiss, so if you go see Kiss, you're gonna hear God of Thunder. You're gonna hear, even though we did Rock and Roll All Night, you're still gonna hear rock and roll. There's a lot of his stuff you would hear. I mean, we did do some of those. We did do most shows. You know, I don't know. Like, it worked. But, you know, at the same time, man, there was some super, super deep shit that we did that Kiss wouldn't touch with a 10-fucking-foot pole.
Yeah, like they're super deep cuts for, like, the diehards.
And, I mean, those are the people that are coming to those shows, too. I mean, you know, there were a few. That is a difference in their audience. Gene would have, you know, some people that were fans of the show, you know, the Family Jewels show. Ace's fans are diehard Kiss fans.
Yeah.
Because he's not as much of a, you know, a media personality. But honestly, man, the audiences were about the same size, other than like overseas. I've only done Japan and Australia with Ace, but you know, with Gene, we did Japan and Europe and South America and Mexico, and man, some of that shit was out of hand. I mean, when we landed in Bolivia at fucking 5 o'clock in the morning, man, it was like 300 people at the airport waiting for us, man. That was like Beatles shit. I've never seen anything like that. It was fucking insane.
That is crazy. That is absolutely. I couldn't even imagine that. Like
That's the only time I've ever seen anything like that. And granted, I know they were there for Gene. They weren't there for us, but you know, we watched.
Intimidating.
I'm like, oh my god. And it's 5:30 in the morning, man. Aren't you people tired?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
That would have to be nuts to just be like, oh god, like I know they're not here for me, but this is crazy. Like, what is this? Everyone's like losing their minds right now.
And then Bolivia is such a high altitude. You know, you got to drive down this mountain to get down to the city. And you know, I saw some of these people, and then we get to our hotel, and they're waiting for us at the hotel, and I'm like, how the fuck did you beat us here? We had a police escort. How did you beat us in the hotel?
That's crazy. Holy shit. Oh my god, that is literally the craziest shit I've ever heard. I've heard a lot of weird stories, but that is absolutely fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's great, man. If you dug deep in Phil's, Ryan's Instagrams, I mean, we've got video footage of all of it. It was. I'm glad I got to see that one time.
Oh my god!
From that lens.
Like from front row of it, just like, oh shit, this is actually happening.
And there were people hanging outside the hotel like 24 hours a day.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
It's great.
Oh my god, that's absolutely nuts. Well, thank you for coming on, Jeremy, and dealing.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Court, it was good to meet you, man. Maybe I'll see you.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. You too, brother. I hope so, man. I'll come down to Nashville and jam when it's all possible, you know? If you guys need a singer.
Yeah, man. Hit me up. Please.
I will.
You too, Amy.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. See you guys later.
See you, Jeremy. That was cool. I had a very good time on this podcast, and I appreciate you dealing with my
what a nice fellow.
What a nice fellow.
It's all good. I was gonna say, you know, he's a nice fellow. I was saying how, you know, he was saying how like it was like the Beatles when they went to Japan, and I was like, that's exactly how I feel when I go to Wyoming.
Wyoming?
It's a bad joke. Because there's like nobody in Wyoming. No, I don't know. Terrible.
Like you're in Iowa with like the cornfield somewhere. It's like, oh, there are all my fans.
Yeah.
They're like in the yard with the corn. It's fine. So
my jokes are the best. Yeah, my jokes are the best because I always have to explain to them why they're funny.
Sometimes I get them. Sometimes I don't.
I know. Yeah. As long as they're funny to me.
That's how everybody is. Oh my god. So did I miss anything that you wanted to plug on here before I end the
Oh yeah. So I got these brand new bandanas, player. I was waiting for that. Yeah.
Oh, that looks sick.
Like, yeah, so it's like it's the course. Wait, this is not lined up properly. Hold on. They're so new that they need to be washed because they're like really tight. But yeah, it's supposed to be like the skull, like where the face is supposed to be. Oh, it's not even lined up right. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. And the logo's there. Yeah. I'm a terrible model for my product. It's too new. But we got fresh bandanas. They're so fresh that they gotta be worn out a little bit. And I got, of course, as you got one of the prototypes, we got the snapback Devil Girl hats, and I'm hoping to produce a real commercial for it like soon enough. Maybe like next week. I'm gonna do something funny, do a little commercial for it. But yeah, we got new merch this way. You know, in these terrible coronavirus times, you can, you know, rock some Core Rosic merch when you're like going to the supermarket.
Try to hide out from everybody.
You know, it's better to wear some Core Rosic merch than some offensive sport team hats or something, you know, because most sport teams are kind of offensive now. So Core Rosic's not too offensive yet. So you can just wear this. And no one will suspect that you're up to any trouble. They'll think you're a law-abiding citizen if you wear this.
Pull the hat down, I'm pretty sure no one would ask me about docking at any other rest stops.
Yo, if you look really closely, it looks like I officially have no eyes. Look at that.
Yeah. Like, you pull it up out of the way.
You can't see me now, player.
Calm down, John Cena.
Yo, let me get that. Yo, player, you got them CBDs?
It's up to me like a sheets like that. Hey, do you listen to Dawkins?
Yeah, I'll roll into a sheets. Yo, player, let me get the mozzarella sticks. Oh, I gotta press the button and order them. Okay.
Yeah, you're just like, I can't see what I'm doing.
I can't see, player. Help me out. I want those mozzarella sticks, player. Oh man. Nah, Sheets is good in my book, bro. They got Topo Chico and made to order mozzarella sticks. You can't go wrong with Sheets.
Yeah, Sheets is like what I live on when I'm on the road. Sheets and Taco Bell. That's it.
Sheets. Yeah.
I love Sheets.
I like it so much I put it in my song. Sheets. Terrible. Terrible.
Oh my god, absolutely terrible. Oh my god. Well, thank you for coming on and hanging out with me tonight and my dealing with my nonsense.
What are you kicking me off, player?
Yeah.
You calling it a night?
Be smooth about it.
Closing up shop?
Closing up shop.
You going back into the universe?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back into my dark hole. It'll be fine.
You should get like a green screen and then put like a library behind you so you look very like, you know, like smart and stuff.
Librarian?
Yeah, like be like, I'm the host and I'm a scholar. Here's my, you know, dictionary and thesaurus and first edition Dickens and whatever the fuck. I don't know. I'm a bozo.
You're like, this is what I do in my off time. I read Shakespeare and drink coffee. Like, that's all I do.
Yeah, no, you just gotta, you know, just to give the show a little bit more like credibility, you know, like, oh, you know, she reads, yeah, you know, like.
Because I clearly look like a librarian.
I mean, you could probably pull it off. That's how librarians look in West Virginia, you know.
I hope you felt that blink to your soul.
You can't throw shade on me, player.
You're like, I can't see you now.
Yo, man, watch. These are gonna sell like hotcakes now because people will be like, I don't want to see nobody. I can't see, Mom. What? Wash the dishes? What player? I don't know.
You're like, I don't know what's going on now. We're just gonna pull this up. I don't want to talk to anybody. We're just gonna hide in my bandana.
Pretty much, man. You know, we gotta hide from something. If it ain't the parents, it's the corona. You know, it's something. We gotta hide.
Corona.
Yeah. I won't take up any more of your time.
I appreciate you playing kind of unofficial co-host for this and dealing with my technical difficulties that were a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it's all good. I held it down, and this is good practice for me because, you know, I want to do my own kind of show. We might do a portion of the show might be something like this, so it's good practice. Good practice.
Yeah, be cool. Well, I'll definitely be keeping my eyes peeled for that. And thank you again for stopping on, man. I appreciate it.
All right, kick me off already.
All right. Weirdo. I can't stand that man. I just want to give everyone a big shout out for coming on and talking with me tonight, and all of the fantastic guests, and Calico for being my special guest I was teasing for a hot minute. So I've been on here for about 2.5 hours now, so I am definitely done talking for tonight. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody again for coming on, and everyone at home for watching. You guys rock. So thank you so much. And I guess stay tuned next week for some more Freaky Friday, and stay tuned for the next live stream. I will be announcing that shortly. I'm trying to confirm all the guests for that, but right now it's looking to be September 4th-ish for the next live Freak Friday. So thanks everybody again for making this a huge success, and I love all you guys, and I guess stay freaky.